where's everything? No. Damn it. Yeah, that was all automated, baby. All right, dirtbags, welcome back to the Sooner or Later podcast. We've been gone for a while. So what happens when your father-in-law dies? But don't you worry, we're back, baby. And this week, we needed a feel-good film, so we watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, directed by Steven Spielberg. You did. You told me to rehearse. Directed by Steven Spielberg, screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan, story by George Lucas and Philip Kaufman, produced by Frank Marshall, cinematography by Douglas Slocombe, edited by Michael Kahn, music by John Williams, the John Williams. Production company was Lucasfilm Limited, distributed by Paramount Pictures with a release date of June 12th, 1981, and a runtime of 115 minutes. Raiders of the Lost Ark had a budget of $20 million and had a worldwide box office of $367 million and a total estimated domestic video sales of $1.1 million. Raiders of the Lost Ark is sitting with a 96% fresh rating on the Tomato Meter with 91 reviews and a 96% audience score with 250,000 reviews. On Metacritic, it's sitting with an average score of 85 from critics and a user score of 8.9, but the only people who opinions matter is ours. And we have 10 minutes of spoiler-free to talk about Steven Spielberg's film starting now.
This is an adventure movie.
I'll be honest, I've thought I've seen this. I have not.
Oh, really?
I think I've watched the second one like 4 times, and I think this is my first time.
So I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie twice. I don't think I've seen the second one though. And the third one I've seen like 3 times.
I knew I seen nothing, but I knew like certain like aspects of it. So I was like, okay, that's what this reference is from. That's what this is from.
Yeah, this movie is a gosh darn classic. I'm gonna keep it PG so that we don't get struck. It is a gosh darn classic though. Holy crap!
No, so good. All 2023.
Yeah, it's self-love by not getting struck by YouTube all 2023.
100%. I really like how he has like the 2 iconic looks though, like because I feel like you look at his Indiana and then you look at he's both Indiana Jones, but like his professor look,
his
and
Dr.
then, like,
Jones look, and his Indy look. Those are the 2, yeah.
And they're so good, like, and they're both like iconic, which is kind of crazy because it's one character. But like when you look at both, you like know. I
love how much of a nerd this dude is. He's a filthy nerd, and he gets so hot and bothered when he starts talking about archaeology.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, they found it, bro. And he like looks at his colleague and he's like, "Can you believe they found it, dude?" And these other 2 are just like, "What the hell are they talking about? What is going on here?"
From like and the next second, he's a stud.
And look, we're gonna get horny later in the spoilers. All right, we're gonna give ourselves 10 minutes because let me tell you, Harrison Ford is a gosh darn stud.
How old is he in this movie?
I'll look it up because I was curious, but all I know is that he is straight stud muffin.
Because this movie it takes place like 1923, I think it said.
39 is when it takes place. My man is a Chicago native. I didn't know that. Harrison Ford was born in 1942 in Chicago, Illinois.
He was like 40 when he did this movie, right?
No.
You said he was born 19
yeah,
what?
he was 30, or he would have been 38 when they filmed it.
Okay.
Because it aired in 81.
Fuck.
Eric!
Oh my man.
We were doing so good.
I'm glad it's you.
I'm sorry, that just blew my mind. What
39
the hell?
in this movie, and they made 3 of these movies, and then Crystal Skull was made like 20 years later, 30 years maybe. He still fit in the Indiana Jones outfit from the 3rd movie. 40 years later in Crystal Skull, the outfit still fit him perfectly.
I mean, he's the same size even when he's old. He's smaller now, but he never got bigger.
No, I would be more worried that he was like fatter, but it's crazy that the dude remained in stud shape at 80 years old or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like, because I've never seen Star Wars, and then I've actually seen like the prequels, like, but I've also never seen like Indiana Jones. So like when I see people that are like 40 and up that are just like, oh, Harrison Ford, this and that, and I'm like, oh, I don't get it. But then you see this movie, and you're like, oh, I get it. I understand where that came from.
And he's
I thought he's in his 20s.
I thought he was in
In
his
this movie.
Yeah,
20s
he
too.
looks good. He's in his prime, honestly.
I don't know. Clearly, he was in his prime 20 years before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in his prime for 40 years.
Yeah, he's been in his prime for 80 years.
I'm scared to see the next movie, man.
Yeah.
But he's more charming in this than he is in Star Wars. But he's still like a charming dude in Star Wars.
I like him in this more so than I like anything I've ever seen him in. Like, because I've also seen him a lot older and stuff.
Even in
and
like the one where he's the president or whatever.
yeah, what is it called? Air Force Down or something like that,
I'm
or Air
looking
Force
it up right
One.
now. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think this character, like, especially because it's kind of like complex. Like, you have like literally he's playing like two characters almost.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's really cool. I mean, the dude is just a fantastic actor when he wants to be. Like, you could really see where he phones it in, especially like the sequel series for Star Wars. Like, he's just out there getting a damn check. But like
Yeah,
in this, where he's like, I love being this character, he just acts his damn heart out. He's just doing
like,
it.
Him and like Bruce Willis, I feel the same about. Where I'm like, I don't see all the hype, but then you watch the early work and you're like, okay, get it. Like when they were in the beginning and they were really like they loved acting.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying he doesn't anymore, but it does seem like he's kind of just a grizzly old man now. He doesn't have like that charming aspect to him. They just have him kind of play angry all the time nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall in this one, I thought he was complex. Like you got the funny, you got the serious. It was lighthearted. He's a character that is like, even though you're following him, he's a good character. He makes some like I guess human decisions where you're like, oh wait, I don't agree with that. Like, so he's not perfect, which I like.
But I would argue they're so perfectly calculated that it doesn't matter if you disagree with it morally. It is so perfectly calculated that you're like, my dude was right. How could I doubt him?
Yeah,
he
like,
clearly knows more than I do. I should have never doubted him.
Yeah, where he's coming from. But like on a moral level, like you said, it's like questionable.
But I only think it's because we're not intelligent enough to have thought it out.
I think there's a couple times where he just was like a selfish person. Like
No,
and whatever happens.
I think he's working throughout the entire film in an altruistic way. Because, I mean, other than the fact that, you could argue that it's morally corrupt to steal these artifacts from countries that are poorer than you and put them in your own museum. But it's the 40s, so we're going to let that slide because they're not morally there yet. Everything else, I think he's thinking about everything else. If he was just thinking about himself, he wouldn't have done some of the things to risk his life to save other people.
Yeah, but I think that's as the movie goes. I think early on it's a little more selfish and he learns and I don't even have an issue with the artifact things because like as you see as the movie unfolds, he does generally care about the history behind it and he does want it for better reasons other than like the way the Germans want the artifacts for.
Well, fuck the Germans, first off.
Yeah, well, they're Nazis.
Since Eric broke the seal.
Yeah. We all get one.
I guess so. One in the pre-spoilers.
Yeah.
What the hell was I gonna say? Eric, say something. Vamp.
Vamp. I'm vamping here.
Oh wait, Eric, you're muted. You muted yourself. I definitely can't hear you.
I can't hear him either.
Oh no. All right.
Oh, no.
My God, Eric, you figured it out while we vamp.
Vamp.
I think his version of a Bond girl, I'm in love with. She is absolutely fantastic. Her acting is fantastic. Her character is so cool. Even though she's like the prototypical manic pixie dream girl and like other I'm not like other girls girl. Mm-hmm. It seems a little bit more believable, just like given her circumstances with her dad and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was super compelling.
Yeah, based on the environment she grew up in, it's more believable because in a lot of those senses, they're just your traditional girl next door. She's lived a little more of a rugged life, so you can understand. Even the way we're first introduced to her, she's not your stereotypical girl next door.
Yeah,
she drank that man under the table, man.
And that was a big dude that she drank under the table.
No way, she was like tossing him on the side.
Well, Alex is like, it's juice. she's not drinking liquor. There's no way. And I was like, nah, she hitting them boys. There ain't no way she's drinking juice.
I can see that until later on in the movie. Then you realize, like, oh no, she's about that life.
Yeah, oh yeah. She
I mean,
drink
she owns
anybody
a
into the
bar.
table. Yeah, she owns a bar in Tibet or wherever the hell they're at.
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier that even though like I've never seen this movie, like just the Indiana Jones character, he's so like he's so famous, right?
Yeah, it's iconic. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
It's
iconic.
it's, that I was like, this is a good time. Like we said, this is a good film, like good film movie.
Yeah, I don't think even when the characters are in danger, I don't think, for me anyways, I was never like, oh man, they're just gonna kill Marion. This is kind of wild as hell that they're gonna do this. It's like very obviously a children's movie. I
I
feel
mean,
like.
I legit thought Marion was got.
So the
I was like, where'd she go?
yeah, well, I love that they didn't explain it. He was just like,
Yeah.
oh, you must have been in a different truck. Like what? I saw her in that truck
Yeah,
though.
I
Yeah.
literally.
I rewinded it because I was like, what did I just miss?
And also, like, it's actually kind of brutal, like all the blood splatters and stuff, and like,
Well, he takes licks. I didn't expect him to take so many licks.
My man literally gets shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
in
he's
the
Yeah.
shoulder. And I looked at that and I was like, oh wow. Like, and also reminds me of Die Hard too, in that sense. Because I'm like, this is almost like an everyday man getting wrecked by these people. Like,
Yeah.
you expect him almost to be invincible, and I think that's what helps though, because you feel like he could be in danger and he could die.
he's
Yeah.
a grounded character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely cool seeing the guy who like the movies that this movie is based off of, those guys I'm pretty sure were just invincible, you know? Like
Yeah.
I didn't have the timer thing up. That is spoilers, boys. All right, everybody. That was our spoiler-free review of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So on 3, we're going to give you guys a thumbs up or a thumbs down on whether or not you should spend the 2 hours watching Raiders. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's a thumbs up, boys. That's a
Thumbs
hard
up.
thumbs up. You got to see this movie. You got to see.
That's
It's a classic.
You got to
It's a
see
classic. Yeah.
all 3 of these original movies and then go watch The Mummy, so you could be like, oh, The Mummy's just a spiritual sequel to Indiana Jones.
I mean, it holds up.
It really does. Oh man. Oh,
It didn't even feel like 2 hours though. Holy shit! How did you really said that?
It was like 155, 145, something.
Yeah, it was 155. We're gonna talk about that a little bit in spoilers. But what you guys can do is go ahead and click subscribe, because probably 90% of the people who watch us are not subscribed. So click that subscribe button, click that bell, unsubscribe to everybody else so that we're the only thing in your feed.
All you need.
And then you're going to click the button in the top right-hand corner so that you can watch our spoiler-full discussion of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.